Why do the world's poorest handle money with more complexity than the wealthy? It's not just about survival, it's about strategy. Portfolios of the Poor by Daryl Collins, Jonathan Mordick, Stuart Rutherford, and Orlando Ruthven uncovers a hidden financial world that challenges everything we assume about poverty. The book isn't about statistics, it's about real financial diaries tracking how families in Bangladesh, India, and South Africa earn, borrow, save, and spend every dollar. The reality? They aren't just struggling. They are financial managers, making incredibly sophisticated decisions every single day. But how do they do it when they live on just a couple of dollars a day? Their biggest challenge isn't just poverty, it's the triple whammy of low income, unpredictable cash flow, and limited access to banks. They simply don't earn enough, their money comes in irregular bursts, and formal financial tools aren't designed for them. Imagine being a family in Bangladesh making $70 a month. One day you earn a few dollars, the next, nothing. How do you budget? How do you save? For most of us, financial planning is possible because we know when our paycheck arrives. But for these families, stability doesn't exist. That's why traditional banking completely fails them. Instead, they innovate. They create financial systems of their own, using remarkably complex strategies to survive. Some families practice money guarding by entrusting their savings to a neighbor to prevent impulse spending. Others form rotating savings clubs where small groups pool their money and take turns receiving a lump sum. Many rely on microloans not to start businesses but as a forced savings plan. Yes, borrowing to save. In many communities, banks don't offer reliable long-term savings options, so people take high-interest loans simply to enforce a structured savings discipline. It sounds backwards, but for them, it works. Before we dive deeper into the most surprising financial strategies, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss insights like these. But what happens when disaster strikes? A sudden illness or accident can wipe out months of careful planning. Families fall into debt traps, forced to sell their land just to afford treatment. The safety net is fragile, and the risks are immense. One of the most devastating cases in the book describes a South African savings club treasurer who was robbed and killed. The entire community lost everything overnight. That's the reality of informal financial systems. They work, but they are dangerously fragile. So why don't banks step in? Because financial institutions aren't designed for the realities of the poor. Banks assume people have steady incomes and predictable expenses. But when money comes in irregular bursts, traditional banking just doesn't fit. These communities don't need loans with strict repayment schedules. They need secure savings tools, flexible credit, and protection from financial shocks. Which brings us to microfinance, often promoted as a silver bullet for poverty. But does it really work? The book reveals a surprising truth. Many microloans aren't used for businesses. They're used to cover basic needs like food, medical bills, and school fees. That doesn't mean microfinance fails, it just proves that poverty is more complicated than we assume. Some organizations like Grameen Bank have adapted by offering commitment savings plans and more flexible loans. The lesson? Financial services must evolve to fit real human needs. But the biggest financial tool for the poor isn't loans, it's trust. People don't borrow from banks, they borrow from people they know. High-interest informal loans aren't always exploitation. They reflect real risks in a world where collateral doesn't exist. Before we uncover the final and most powerful financial strategy that allows the poor to build a future, subscribe now, because this insight could change the way you think about money. The key to escaping poverty isn't just earning more, it's accessing usefully large sums at the right moment. Think about it. What are the major moments in life when you need money the most? A medical emergency, your child's education, or a business investment that could change your future. But when you're barely surviving day to day, saving is almost impossible. So how do they do it? They get creative. One of the most surprising strategies in the book is turning debt into assets. In India and Bangladesh, families take microloans just to buy gold jewelry. Not for luxury, but because gold is a store of value. In emergencies, they sell or pawn it. They aren't just surviving, they're building hidden savings using debt as a financial tool. This book forces us to rethink poverty. The poor don't need handouts, they need reliable financial tools. Most aspects of their lives are unreliable. Their wages, their access to healthcare, even basic necessities like clean water and electricity. Financial stability could be the foundation that changes everything. Instead of a wobbly ladder, where one slip sends you crashing down, we need to build them a staircase. Small, manageable financial steps leading to long-term security. That's the real challenge. How do we design banking, savings, and credit tools that don't just help the wealthy grow richer, but allow the poor to thrive? And before you click on our next video, think about this. Is escaping poverty really about income, or is it about how well you manage what little you have?